All right. So this is homework week 10, number 1. Let me just pull it up. So write a C program that uses an FSM to identify the number of occurrences of the string TT in a word. The problem should count overlapping occurrences. For example, there is one occurrence of TT in the word me TT. However, there are 2 occurrences in the word me TTT. Alright, so that one's pretty simple enough. So whenever there's the string TT, it's just gonna count how many times that occurs. So yeah, and then it can also overlap as I mentioned before. So I'll just show you the input file for now. So we have me T, me TT, me TTT, me
We
TT.
did this one. I
Yeah,
remember doing this one.
are you sure? I don't have the video for it then. I don't know if it got
It's
deleted
not
or not.
basically. Remember, this question's the same as another one.
Oh yeah.
So I have that.
Yeah, but it was done differently in a way.
Okay, that's true. All right, keep going.
Yeah. Alright. So yeah. So we're gonna have include stdio because for the standard input output, stdlib, and that's tr and that includes string.h because we're going to be dealing with strings. Then it's going to have a length of 32. So the string length is just going to be 32 because if it was any longer than that, that'll just be annoying to type in. And then since we have an input text, we're going to have file star inp, and then you're going to have an if statement saying if imp equals f open, the text file, which I named as homework 8.1, and they're going to set it in read mode so it can read it. And then if it doesn't detect it, it's going to print an error saying that it can't be open in exit 1. It's going to be exit 1 to show that it terminated unsuccessfully. And yeah, then right here, we're going to have char var, var length. The length is 32 and match and TT. We're going to set this empty because we're going to find out later like how long it should be int I and count 0 because we want to count how many times TT occurs in the string. And whenever you have a count, you should always set it equal to 0 at first. So then it's actually pretty simple. So in order, the first off, you have to scan it. So we're going to have a while loop. So fscanf, the input file, %s because it's a string, and you're going to save it in var while that's not equal to end of file. So essentially, in other words, it's going to scan each and every single one of these lines before the end of file, which should be like right here. And no, it will save it as a string in character var length, and length has a size of 32. So in this while loop, we'll have count be equal to 0 at first, because right now we didn't really start counting TT yet. Then we'll have a for loop, and then for when I is equal to 0, I is less than the string length of var, which is 32, then I plus plus. Then you're gonna have an if statement saying that if var was equal to var I, so pretty much when it's going through the for loop, when var is equal to t, and the next one I plus 1 is equal to e, I plus 2 is equal to t, and I plus 3 is equal to e, then count plus plus. So essentially that means that if we have something like this, t, like a bunch of random words, and TETE, it's gonna count. But if we had something like this, where it's just T, something else, T, E, something else, T, and E, then it won't count because TT has to be consecutive. That's why we had I plus 1, I plus 2, and I plus 3 in order to make sure that it occurred, that TT occurred at the consecutively. And then you're just gonna end up closing that for loop, and then you're just simply gonna print f the string TT occurs that many times, and then count is gonna show how many times it happened, and var is just gonna be TT. And I also forgot to mention that they also want an FSM for this question. So that's why for this part right here, we did void FSM. It could be named anything, but for this one, I just called it FSM for simplicity. And then this is the whole code. The reason why it's void and not something like int or float is because you're really not returning anything here. You're just really counting how many times something happened. And the string and then for int main, you're just simply calling FSM, and then it's just doing the work. So yeah, if I compile it and run it, and let me just get the input file, and then you can see in first line me_t, it doesn't have the string tt, so it doesn't has tt occur 0 time. Me_tt has it occur once. Me_t it occurs twice. This one is 3, and yeah, so on. So yeah, did that make any sense?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. What's your question?
The only thing I got is, so where you said match is equal to TETE, why didn't you put a number in match?
So the reason why I didn't put a number in match, well, to be honest, I sort of forgot about match when actually doing the code, right? So honestly, you can just delete that part and ignore it
But if you did use it, why wouldn't you need a number?
because you don't know like how long a TT would be at that part, because you can have like TT be like that, right? And you want to know like how long TT would be, right? So for now, you can
Okay.
just like, yeah, you can just ignore match because I just forgot about it. I was thinking of one thing, but it didn't work. And you can see that it works without it.
All right.
All right, any more questions?
So like when it goes from, it starts at 0 and it's T, and then 1 is E. So the next one it goes through, wouldn't, if it was the T, would the next one be like var I be E?
Can you explain it? Can you say it again?
So does it count like the times like that occur like back to back, or is it just like the number of times it occurs in the sequence?
It just counts the number of times TT occurs in the sequence.
Oh, okay, all right. Then I have no
So yeah,
questions.
so like this part will count once, and this part will count as the second part. As long as it sees a TETE back to back, it'll count once, even if some parts overlap. And then also, to be honest, you don't really need an FSM here. You could have just had this entire part in the main statement, and then it would have worked fine. But yeah, that's it.
All right.